Welcome back to the weekly recap. I'm Matt Wacker. A congressional resolution in 2001 has designated September 11th as Patriot Day. This year, crowds gathered in Waynesville City Park to remember the nearly 3,000 people who lost their lives on that fateful day 16 years ago. A group from the 399th Army Band accompanied the crowd as they celebrated the American spirit.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand while Cub Scout Pack 202 leads us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and remain standing for the national anthem as performed by Sergeant Philip Green.
Joining us tonight, we are the Rough Riders from the 399th Army Band at Fort Leonard Wood.
The Sullivan Chamber of Commerce is looking for a new executive director following the recent announcement that Cindy Milstead will be resigning. Milstead has worked with the Sullivan Chamber for the last 4 years and will be relocating to St. Robert. Resumes are now being accepted. Milstead says she won't be leaving until her replacement has been found. The West Plains Bank and Trust Company recently traveled to West Plains area schools for check presentations totaling $28,422. The proceeds were raised by the bank's School Spirit Visa check card program. The program is in its 5th year. The bank offers 7 School Spirit Visa check card designs featuring schools in the West Plains area. A new art show has opened at Leach Theater on the campus of Missouri S&T. Works by local artists Orville Reeves and Louis Smart will be on display throughout the fall semester. Leanne attended the opening night reception and had the chance to talk with these two about their work.
Orville Reeves of the Orville Reeves Gallery here in Rolla, is that correct?
That is correct.
What's a painting that you favor in this collection that's being shown at Leach Theater?
The one behind us, I do love this natural bridge. It's around Dixon, Missouri, and it's called the Clifty Creek Natural Bridge, and it's probably one of my favorite things to paint. I've painted it in every season, every time of the day. It's like Monet had his haystacks. This is kind of my haystacks.
Yeah.
So.
You have a lot of color in this one. Tell us a little bit about your technique.
Well, it seems like when I look at a lot of my paintings, I play a dark mass against a smaller mass of light, and that makes the painting very strong.
And it really does look a lot like Missouri, mid-Missouri.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
How long have you lived in this area?
Well, we moved, my father was in the military, so we moved from Germany to Rolla about 1964 maybe, and so I went to high school here, and then I went to art school in Seattle, Missouri, in Seattle, Washington.
What made you come back to this area?
I got tired of living in a big city.
Okay.
I absolutely love Seattle, but I hate standing in lines to do everything, so.
Louis Smart, you're an artist from right here in Rolla, is that correct? I mean, your roots are here,
right.
Is that right?
Yeah, my family goes back to the Civil War.
Here in Phelps County?
Right. I've lived here and I've traveled to the West Coast and worked out there for a number of years, but I always come back. I lived and worked in Lawrence, Kansas, and learned how to do casting there, bronze casting. But mostly it's from here, the spirit of it, the Ozarks.
Well, I know I asked you to show me a piece that had special meaning for you, and you brought me here. Tell us a little bit about this piece.
This was done years and years ago, back in the 70s. It's a bronze. They call it silica bronze. And it's got different patinas on it, darker and lighter. I always wanted to put it in a fountain, and this is kind of a makeshift fountain with rocks and water. And
That kind of is a rendition of your vision for the piece all along.
pretty much.
Well, Louis Smart, it's a beautiful piece, and I thank you for talking to us.
My pleasure.
Matt, we'll send it back to you.
Mary's county deputies say speeds topped 100 miles per hour as a suspect ran motorists off the road during a chase. 28-year-old Candace Gerard of St. Louis was charged September 12th with felony resisting arrest. The chase began on Highway 68 near St. James after a traffic stop was attempted. Gerard sped away, driving to Vichy, then back to St. James, and then back to Vichy. She made her way into Rolla and eventually Interstate 44 before a deputy used his patrol car to push her into a ditch. A warrant was already out for her arrest. She is being held in the Marys County Jail on a $25,000 bond. According to the Highway Patrol, a Lebanon teen was airlifted to Springfield after a motorcycle crash near Dove Road. 16-year-old Braden Cravens was taken to Mercy Hospital on September 10th with what were described as serious injuries. Troopers say the crash occurred on private property when Cravens lost control and hit a tree. The report says he was not wearing a helmet. A woman from Thayer is dead after a one-vehicle crash on September 9th. 68-year-old Elaine Martin Barnett was driving south on 63 when her Cadillac SRX ran off the road, overcorrected, hit the median, and overturned. She was pronounced dead at Ozarks Medical Center in West Plains. Her passenger, 79-year-old Norma Barnett, also from Thayer, was seriously injured. The residents and staff of Salem Residential Care wanted to do something to give back to their community. They decided to paint rocks and distribute them throughout the town of Salem in hopes of brightening someone's day. If these colorful rocks brought a smile to even one person's face, their goal, as they say, is met. That's all for now. I leave you with a slideshow from Leanne's recent trip abroad. Leanne, take it away.
I've been gone for a while, exploring the quiet turbulence of Iceland and the colorful countryside of the Netherlands. The northern lights and the pristine air were first to greet me in Iceland. I'm pretty sure I left my heart on this massive volcanic island in the North Atlantic. There's so many contrasts here and yet so much harmony. Tradition stands arm in arm with progress. Color sings an opera on an overcast stage, and the tiniest of nature's works blend with her masterpieces. Waterfalls and geysers and glaciers, waterfalls and mountains and cliffs, waterfalls and beaches and rifts, and soup. Then on to Amsterdam, a city of 1 million bicycles. I quickly found the rhythm of this ancient city whose residents don't seem to notice that they set the standards for the rest of the world. Progressive thinking seems to come naturally here, but I felt no elitism, only friendly, busy people willing to point me in the right direction, as long as I wasn't in their bike lane. I ventured outside the city as well to other places. Windmills, pastures, castles, monuments, and taverns, all of them enveloping me in time. I return home refreshed. Until my next adventure.
The Weekly Recap is brought to you by Price Chopper, Cooking from Scratch, Travers Autoplex, the UPS Store of Rolla, Bayard Dodge of West Plains, and Falcon Floor Covering.